exercises I would do as a pelvic floor dysfunction clinician are the ones I'm about to show you. But what I want to make sure you understand is this is if you don't have any other limitations. For example, if you have a bad knee, some of these exercises may need to be modified. So with that said, the first thing that I would start is biological breathing. We're gonna make sure at the end of this video, we'll put a video that explains what that is. Biological breathing is done a specific way, and this is just a good old basic breathing that we have learned by watching babies and how they breathe, and how babies and toddlers up to 4 or 5, depending on what's going on, breathe naturally. So with that said, biological breathing, in the process of breathing in, the muscles of the pelvis, inside the pelvis, relax. And in the process of breathing out is when the same exact muscles inside the pelvis will contract, and that's strengthening of those muscles. So start with biological breathing. This is at least what I would outline. The next one is I want to be focusing on essentially strengthening the stability in my pelvis. So I want to address anything that directly impacts the pelvis and works on what is connected to the pelvis. Because let's say if the spine, connection of the spine to the pelvis is not strong, you will have pelvic floor dysfunction as a result of instability of the pelvis. If you don't have enough mobility in your legs connected to the pelvis, you'll have, that's a weak connector, and you will compromise the stability of the pelvis. So with that said, number 1, biological breathing. Number 2 is working on the lower part of your trunk. Lower part of the trunk is actually more than just your abdominals, the one that people do sit-ups, which by the way, I'm against that. So you're gonna be laying down on your back, elongated spine. Start from here, making sure the smaller your back is closed, your pelvis is nice and neutral, and you breathe biologically. Bring one leg up without the torso moving. Bring the other leg up, and holding that up just like that, balancing the front and the back of my body is what will allow some of that stability to be reinforced. Now in this position, and I can bring my arms up, and you're maybe wondering, well, what does that have to do with my pelvic floor dysfunction? The reality is, can I bring my arms up and not compromise the stability here? Because everything is connected. Now from this position, now I'm gonna work more on my obliques, which is gonna be practiced by doing side to side move. So in the side to side move, in this case, I'm going away from the camera, so my top shoulder or my right shoulder and right hip are going to move together in that tilt away from the camera. And I want to hold it in that position without arching my back, without doing funky stuff like my legs going in that position or anything like that. Holding this pose, following the principles of movement, is going to strengthen my obliques. Now can I come towards the center and then go towards the camera and hold it and then go back? So that's another one. So I worked on the oblique, I worked on my abdominals in general, I have worked on relaxing and contracting the muscles inside my pelvis. And the next one that I would do is a position that, of course, in order for you to do this, you would need to know how to do the 3-month pose. This is what we all did at 3 months to bring yourself up. And then the next one is 3 to 6 months. So it starts with going with your hands under your shoulders and picking the forehead up, pushing the ground away, and getting yourself in this position. In this position, you don't want to be dropping your pelvis. You're holding your pelvis not up in this position, but you're balancing the front and the back of the body as you're pushing the ground away. Your elbows are not locked, and you're actually utilizing from your knees to the top of your feet in the support of the thigh connected to the pelvis itself, like so. Now from this position, I can then go into a quadruped position and practice pushing the ground away, keeping my spine nice and neutral. Again, I'm talking about neutral spine because that requires stability of the pelvis. So I'm not sticking my butt out and I'm not over curving. Am I able to push the ground away, holding my neck, not the head, up, and breathing biologically and taking any amount of slack off without flexing that. The next one that I would do, of course there's so many more, but these are basically cherry picked out of the group. The next one is where I'm gonna stand up. So my camera lady is going to follow me here. So we're gonna go ahead and stand up in a sumo squat. So sumo squat, if you can point the camera down at my feet, is just gonna start with my feet being wider than my pelvis, and I am going to bring my knees over my feet. So now what we're gonna be doing is in this position with the spine neutral. So you're not sticking your butt out. It's nice and neutral. Now I'm gonna face the camera. I'm going to be bringing the heel up, rotate in, go back, up, rotate in and back. Am I able to do that? That's a very good exercise. The next one is just a squat, only I'm starting with hinging down, bending the knees beyond my toes, keeping the inside and outside of my legs nice and secure. So in the process of squatting down or coming back up, I'm not letting my knees go in or out. It's nice and stable. Am I able to go down without bending? So I'm hinging at the hips and I'm lowering myself down, allowing my butt and my legs support the move. Think about the back of my knees towards the back wall and hinging my pelvis forward so my torso is up. That's the key. So it's all about mechanics of movement, following the principles of movement, and repeating it over and over until that becomes your default. So when it comes to the stability of any part of your body, pelvis itself or else, you want to follow the right mechanics over and over. After all, we all started as helpless infants, became running toddlers. No gyms, no weights, no bands, no chiropractors, no physical therapists, no personal trainers. We all are defaulted to follow those patterns. So it just makes sense to bring stability back into your movement following the already proven methodology. Hope this makes sense. Thank you for subscribing to the channel, watching us, and if you have any questions, contact one of the methods of contact in the description box. And until next time, take care.